Good morning. 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 Or wherever this is finding you. Typically, the episodes come out at 8 a.m. every day, but transparently, it's right around 12:30 on Monday when I'm recording this. How are you? I have a case of the firsts. That's going to be the title of today's episode and the main topic of conversation. Transparently, I wasn't even going to hit record on today's episode. But then I thought, I typically encourage you to show up however you are, wherever you are, in whatever state of mind you are. You've got a friend in me. Just show up. And I struggled this morning pretty badly. I've cried at least 3 times today. And I almost didn't hit record, but then I said, you know what? If you'll allow me just a little bit of space and grace and forgiveness on being a human, then all right, I'll hit record and we'll get a little of an episode out to check in on one another. Does that sound good? Are you cool with that? All right, great. Welcome to This Morning with Tiff Potter. This is a daily companion audio show. It's designed to keep you company while you do the regular human things in your life. So I say that quite a bit. If you want some company, press play. Episodes typically come out at 8 a.m. Most of the time they are audio. So if I happen to be catching you in your ears this morning or this afternoon, hello. But sometimes they are visual. We're throwing in a little video episode today. And I'm debuting my new haircut, which is a topic of conversation that we'll table until the end of the episode, if we find the time to revisit it. It is rooted in Cincinnati, but it's made for wherever you are. Physically, spiritually, mentally, whatever age you are, just know that when you show up, you've got a friend in me. Topics of conversation, things you want to know, need to know. You might use them later. You might send them off to a friend, but you always got something to think about and something to talk about. If you're in an awkward situation, you can always reflect back to something you may have heard on our show. So welcome. Comment below what your name is and what neighborhood you're in and wherever this show is finding you so that we can welcome you to the This Morning community. I know I have a few voice notes to get caught up on, Josh being one of them. He delivers cold beer around our city, so I do appreciate you listening and having me on. But please join him and others by leaving me a voice note at the Tiff, 2 F's, Potter like the wizard. Maybe you too have a case of the firsts. We'll get there. All right, before we go any further, what's going on with you? How was your week? How was your weekend? What's top of mind for you? How are you feeling? What are you thinking about? My girlfriends back in Boston went to a wedding. There were a few of them in our group text that went to this wedding. And so we were debriefing on that a little yesterday and this morning. My best friend said, I chopped the bottom of my dress off in the bathroom. And I said, she was a bridesmaid. And I said, I got you. I've been there. I know it. You and I both know it. Do you still have any of your bridesmaids' dresses? I just recently donated one that I wore, I think in 2023, in a wedding that I was in for my best friend Megan at the Turks and Caicos. I just recently donated that dress and moved on from it. Since then, I don't have any bridesmaids' dresses left. Maybe you too had a wedding this weekend. It is wedding season. Memorial Day fell a little earlier in the month than it typically does. But, wedding season's among us. I have one this season, but depending on where you are in life, you might have like 7 in one year. That was me in my 20s. I think there was one year I went to 10 or 11 weddings. It's what I did for most of summer and fall. It was like the social calendar of the year for weddings. But now I only have, I have one. I'm looking forward to it in 2 weeks. It's in Kentucky for a good friend of mine. So wedding season's here. Maybe you got into that, or maybe you spent some time enjoying your rent, which means doing nothing, hanging out at home. Either way. I have been traveling up until Saturday. I went Saturday to Saturday, Memorial Day weekend Saturday, to just 2 or 3 days ago Saturday, to AMI, Anna Maria Island, Florida. Wonderful vacation. If you are looking for somewhere tropical in the United States, go ahead and add that destination to your must-see list at some point. We had such a good time. And actually, I'm going to reserve the holiday weekend debrief or the vacation debrief until tomorrow when I'm a little bit more on my toes and feeling a little bit more like myself, if that's okay with you. Instead of doing Hot Topic Tuesday and having be something really heavy that you got to think about, we're going to talk about parents, in-laws, and specifically in-laws, and how they utilize Uber. And some of the other silly things that I noticed from being on a vacation with my in-laws for the first time. We had such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful trip. Lots of silly things to giggle about, and so we'll get to that tomorrow. But today, I figured maybe, just maybe, there was someone else out there like me that has a case of the firsts. And I'm going to do my best to explain what this means. And maybe there are threads of it that you can take with you. What is it called when you see that the first of the month falls on a Monday and it makes you want to rip up, throw out, and burn everything that you know and start over? What is that called? What's that called? There are 12 firsts of the month in the year, but for some reason, when it falls on a Monday, I don't know what's coming over me. I don't know what it is. Here are some of the things that I'm internalizing right now. Something with my friends. I'm like, I don't know why I want to blow up everything in my life. I don't know this, and it really it's like a case of the firsts, like I said. It has me questioning everything. Coming back from vacation and having that dopamine crash fall on the first of the month is a recipe for a disaster for me right now. Because I'm like, are my friends even my friends? Do they like me? Do I like them? Do I like my friends? Why am I even considering that? What else? I've had some pretty intense conversations with ChatGPT and Gemini as of late. Yep, got home, and the sudden desire to rip up every single one of my health initiatives and start over. I mean, I have a list of things I need to buy at Whole Foods, and that includes flax, pumpkin seeds, and castor oil. This is the rabbit hole I fell down last night for about 2 hours on the couch until I fell asleep. How do I improve my health? I said to ChatGPT, or Gemini rather, I use Gemini for this one. Act like a medical professional that also swings on the woo-woo side and help me analyze my health and wellness so that I become a machine. That's the prompt I use. What's going on here? My hair, gone. Clothes. I don't know if there are any left in my closet. I've gotten rid of them all. And I have all these big intentions, like, here we go, the first of the month is falling on a Monday. I woke up this morning, I've cried 3 times today. 3 times. And I can't quite get myself to do the things I know I need to do to have my June 1st win. What is this called? What is it called when you is it a crash? Am I crashing out? Is that what this is? When the first of the month falls on a Monday and you have this big list of things that you want to initiate, and then the morning comes and you cry. What I think is really happening is, I know this about myself, that I crash pretty hard after really enjoyable things. Vacation's one of them. This is why I don't think I'll ever get married or have a wedding, because I will probably need therapy afterwards. I'll be so depressed. And I don't say that lightheartedly. I'm in therapy as just a regular human. I can imagine I would need a session right away. I don't know why I'm such a sucker for nostalgia. I'm not kidding you, once a week, I'm reflecting on what I was doing 1 year ago at this time. At all the newness I was experiencing with my boyfriend. And I'm pretty sure he's like, you're a psycho. Why do you have all this journaled and remembered? I don't know why I love nostalgia. And so when something really, really cool and fun and good is happening, when that goes away, like a vacation for this week, for this specific purpose, I have a really hard time. My dopamine crashes so hard. For a day or two, I've questioned all of these things in my life, and then it slowly subsides, and I get back to remembering who was I before this? What was my day-to-day like? I'm sure you felt that maybe going back after Memorial Day weekend. You pull up to your job, you go to log in, you're like, I don't even remember my password. I actually don't even remember why you employed me. What did I do here before I left on Memorial Day weekend? That was only 3 days. So I was really struggling, man, this morning, just teary-eyed for the dopamine crash of, living off of ice cream and iced coffee, but just the whole experience of it all. It wasn't oh yeah, of course you had fun, you're on vacation, yeah, it's more than that. I feel it so deeply, and I can't quite figure out what that's, what is that? So I've got a case of the first today. where I'm somewhere torn between wanting to blow up everything I know about my life and hang on and clutch on to the past as hard as I can. What is that? That's where I find myself, showing up as authentic as I can this afternoon with you. And I do appreciate you giving me a little space to do that. And maybe there was something I said here that resonated with you. What I am trying to tell myself is that you are in a season of growth and change. And these are little blips. And you have a blueprint for these blips. And so you know what to do. I knew I needed to give myself a little time for my dopamine to kind of renew and talk to you this morning. So that's why I'm coming at you a little late, giving myself a little grace and forgiveness. I also know that I do well with some movement and some intentional time. So everything that we do in this life is to build a blueprint for the next thing, so you can refer back. Does that make sense? Like, I have had this dopamine crash before. I have had a case of the firsts before, and I know how to get myself through it. And one of the ways I get through it outside of, what works for me, which is journaling, walking, moving, talking to a friend, talking to you, is that I can slowly calm my nervous system through by talking myself down. I say, you've been here, you know this. It's okay. You're all right. You're doing all right. Anyways, yeah, there's a lot of change, and I am just itching to be settled in it, If you're not familiar, I lost my job in October of 2025. We're almost at 8 months, and for the, I was asking myself and my boyfriend yesterday, I wonder when I'm gonna feel settled again in my life. When my nervous system is going to calm down, when I'm going to shed the weight that I've been holding, and all those things, right? Maybe these are things that I just think about, or maybe I am just a girl on that one. But I think anyone can relate to the unsettled feeling of like change and transition. So if you too have a case of the first, just know that you got a friend in me. All right, that's a good place to leave it for now. I do appreciate you checking in. We'll save the haircut conversation for maybe another day, and maybe somewhere where we have a little bit more time on it. But thanks for thinking of me. Thanks for making me a part of your life. And thank you for stopping by, for inviting me into your life and to the places that you love. I will see you right back here tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. And I appreciate you. And I hope you have a good day.